Good news.
Yes?
From you, right? I don't know if we announced this because
No.
Was it this week you got the news?
Yeah, it was actually Easter night I got it.
Okay, well, Spencer on Easter night was accepted into Wicked Shadow Press's Flash of the Dead Reloaded.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes out in May. When this episode drops, it might already be out. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have an actual release date, but just soon in May.
Because we doubled up episodes last week, so next week is one of those. And then this will come out the following week, so actually we're going to be a week ahead now.
Yeah.
So any current news on this episode is going to be outdated when it comes out. But congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a fun story.
Yeah.
And you did push the Flash fiction envelope there by making it as long as you could and get in.
Yeah.
I think their limit was 1,500 words, and the story is about 1,500 words.
Yes. I think maybe it was like
Which isn't really Flash, honestly. Like,
yeah.
Their parameters were a little looser than most places, because most places Flash is 500 to maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
But they actually had it to 1,500, which still was hard to shave that story down.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had to cut out some of the lines and some of the opening, but I think we kept the gore.
I think Well, obviously they must have been good. They liked it, so. But yeah, when more actual news comes out with that, I'll make sure to let you guys know.
Yeah, and I think I have some news, but I'm not going to announce it now. I'll announce that maybe next week, which will be still fucking might be out. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. Now we're all ahead.
We're getting a little timey-wimey now.
I'm going on vacation, but when I come back from vacation, I think things will probably go back because we're probably not. Well, we can record the Saturday before my vacation.
Yeah.
When I come back, I don't know. We might not even needed to do this. It's good to have an episode and backup anyway.
Well, because I figure you come back on a Saturday, so
I'm not going to record then.
Yeah.
So that'll put us back to normal. All right. Well, I think that's all the news. It's May, so do I have anything coming out May? I do. I'm in Western PA Bards, some poetry reviews coming out this month I'm in. Do I have something else? I don't know. Starlight Pulp is next month, June.
Okay.
Well, recording this, we're still in April, so. But yeah, in June that comes out, which I'm most excited about for that.
Right.
And I just had the Splatterpunk Volume 2 from Hellbound Books come out. And I've kind of ran about that.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on there when I got the edits for it, because they have an actual editing team, people they paid to do this. And I had to approve a few edits, and I remember talking about on the podcast, I believe. One of them was gallons upon gallons of blood is like the line I used. And they informed me that there's not that much blood in the body. And they wanted to change it to copious amounts of blood. I was like, perfect.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good
catch.
The
final printed copy, gallons upon gallons of copious amounts of blood. Like they fucking accidentally they forgot to get rid of the gallons upon gallons. So there's a flub, but it's not like a story I actually really like that much. So I don't really care. I think it's a fun story.
Yeah.
It's not the shit I normally write.
If they could at least took out one of the gallons, like if it was like gallons of a copious blood.
Well, there's not an interconnecting word. There's no of. It's just gallons upon gallons, copious amounts of blood. Yeah. And copious is also capitalized, so they just forgot to get rid of the preceding 3 words. I don't know how that happened. I mean, editing flubs happen. I don't really care. It's a gay werewolf story, so it's not that. It is at the very end though. Obviously, that's the bloody gore bit you're throwing in. But maybe you're so excited reading it you don't care. I don't know. I'm just glad it wasn't an actual typo, because I fucking hate that when like a typo gets through. I'm usually pretty good about submitting work that doesn't have typos, but I've read stories and even like Stephen King collections and shit that have typos. Like, why the fuck hasn't this been corrected yet? It's like, meh, nobody cares. Today's episode, we're gonna be talking about crime, Spencer.
Crimes.
Committing crimes or writing crime? You'll find out after these musical interludes.
Can it be both?
Sure.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Greenwich Good Guy Church.
Oh, good guy.
Told you I was going to give you a good one.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
Good guy.
Not a gooch grabber. No action today. Just a good guy.
Yeah.
We're doing a crime episode, so, it's kind of like you could be like a mob guy.
Oh.
So you're a good guy, but you're a good guy. Man, see? So through Studious research.
As you are one to do.
Not while you were talking to me 5 minutes ago. I just typed in 2 words into Google and came up with an article. I didn't do that.
No.
I've been looking at this for months. No. 25 essential tips for gripping crime fiction.
All right.
This is from our friends at National Center for Writing. So this should be professional, right?
Hopefully it's not by the same guy who did the Pulp one.
No, I'm pretty sure that guy's mad dead. Lester, not Lester Holt. That's from the Nightly News, and he also got fired. Lester Dent.
Yeah.
I remember the name because I was looking up crime books, and he came up because apparently he knows what he was doing. Knew what he was doing. I'm not going to read the intro because crime is a popular genre of fiction. We know that. I'm trying to write it. You want to write it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got. So we've done some crime-adjacent episodes, more along the lines of how to write pulp. But what about crime specifically? What makes a good crime yarn? I'm thinking hard case crime, hard-boiled crime, crime noir, that kind of stuff. Not necessarily the like cold case crime or the more realistic crime stories that deal with like either real events like true crime or fictitious events that are very realistic with forensics and what is that, like hard crime or there's a lot of crime subgenres. So if you want to get good at writing crime, you should do this very first thing, which I
commit crimes.
It would give you an insider's.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Besides committing crimes, if you don't want, I mean, start with petty crimes, steal bananas and stuff. You know, things that won't get you a felony. No, the first thing you should do, which is I probably need to do a lot more of if I want to write a crime novel, is read crime, Spencer.
Yeah, that's a.
I don't have to go into that. That's pretty self-explanatory. Read crime. Various crime. I will say that. Read your hard case crime, your true crime, your cold case, your dead case, your cases upon cases, your copious cases of crime.
Caleb's favorite, the heist.
The heist?
The heist crime. You know, like.
What genre is that? Just heist?
Yeah,
Ocean's 11?
I'm going to say, yeah, would you put that in, like, would that be considered crime, do you think? Or is that a whole nother...
It's a criminal act being orchestrated by multiple people. Yeah, that's probably a subgenre of crime. There's lots of crime. Read crime. Just read it all. Whatever you want to write, read that genre. You want to write crime noir, read some old Raymond Chandler. And it's really hard finding modern crime noir, apparently. Because I looked up list of, like, best crime noir, and I always come up with, like, all the old guys. It's like, modern crime, and still all the old guys. I'm like, okay, contemporary, 2000s after that crime, and it's just like nothing.
Yeah, it's probably all the because like it's probably more like you say the realistic crimes.
Yeah,
and like more like probably like thrillers and stuff like that.
It's just weird to me that so many people love reading noir, but there's not. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot out there, but it just doesn't get marketed that way. At least not from what I've seen. Number 2, do you know what you do if you want to be a good crime writer after reading crime?
Commit crimes.
Stop committing. You have to read the greats.
Oh, okay.
So much of the first.
Yeah, just more. How many tips? 25 of them?
Yeah, it's got 25. We will go into this little list as a sub list here of the greats. So if you want to read some greats, you can do no better, in my esteem. A bunch of guys haven't read probably. You can do
Chili Wonger the Third.
You could do no better than the Crime Writers Association details the top 10 crime novels of all time as number 1. I said that very weird. The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tay, 1951. Never heard of it. Number 2, The Big Sleep, Raymond Chandler, 1939. We read The Big Sleep.
We did read that.
I think we did an episode on it. 3, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, John Le Carre, 1963. Came in the cold or from the cold, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I thought that was an Austin Powers novel.
Number 4, Gaudy Night, Dorothy L. Sayers, 1935. Number 5, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, not related to Dan Aykroyd, probably. Agatha Christie, 1926. That is not the Agatha Christie I thought they would have picked.
Right.
That's odd. You know what? I should probably investigate that more because, you know, we just think of her as like a mystery writer, but I'm sure she just actually has crime novels, you know, that are maybe noir-esque or whatever. Hard-boiled detectives. Number 6, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, 1938. You've seen a trend here.
Of old.
Very old. The youngest one was 1963, I believe. So... what did I say? Farewell, My Lovely by Raymond Chandler, 1940. The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, 1868. I wanted to read that. Isn't that the one that's like sci-fi or something?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Number 9, The Ipcress File by Len Dighton, 1962. And number 10, rounding out the list, is Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon, 1930. I've seen some of the movies based on these things.
Yeah.
Read those. But that's the problem is like, I want to write contemporary crime, maybe crime noir. Where do I go? All this old shit that predates most technology.
Right.
It's not gonna
get
a modern audience.
Right.
It's gonna get the old crusties who like reading that stuff, and then us who are kind of on the line of wanting to read that stuff. So number 3, what do you do if you want to write good crime? Now we've read crime and we've read the greats.
Now we do the committing of the crimes?
No, we read the current heroes of crime. So we're still reading. We're not quite at the writing section yet.
Oh.
But this gives us a list of modern crime writers, so I'm excited. Maybe, just maybe, I'll find a crime writer and get a book to read. No, it doesn't give titles. It just gives the authors. So already, this list has forsaken me.
With too many lists in it.
No, yeah, sublist. I don't like sublist and list. Number 1, Lee Child.
Oh, the preacher guy?
Preacher? No. Reacher.
Reacher, yeah.
Yes.
Reacher.
Would you consider Reacher an action-packed, punch-in-the-face, sock-em-bop-em story of...
just man meat hitting other man meat?
Yeah, non-mystery, no real things getting solved generally. I don't know. Maybe the books are. I just watched the show, and it's just like a lot of punching. I wouldn't say that's probably... I mean, I guess it's crime. I would think more action.
Isn't he committing a lot of crimes? Like,
I think...
He murders a lot, right?
Yeah, I think that would fall under action thriller. I mean, is Tom Clancy going to be on this list? Like, okay. Number 2, Harlan Coben. Never heard of him. Number 3, Peter James. 2 first names. Never heard of him. Number 4, Martina Cole. Nope. No. James Patterson. Number 5. He's yucky. Number 6, John Grisham. Right? What's the crime?
Yeah, isn't he like the guy who did what was that? The movie like with the lawyer.
Boners in South Central?
Yeah, Boners in South Central. Like A Perfect Time to Kill or something like that.
True Detective.
No. But like with Samuel Jackson's daughter gets murdered, so he kills the guy.
Haven't seen it. Haven't watched it. Haven't heard of it. Don't know much. Number 7, Michael Connelly. Number 8, Ann Cleves. Number 9, Patricia Cornwell. Number 10, Val McDermid.
No.
All right. Number 4 on the list, not the sub list. What do you need to do to be a good crime writer?
Sharpen your pencil.
Sharpen your pencil. No. Read the new Heroes of Crime fiction. How was that different?
Wait, what was the last one?
Current Heroes of Crime.
And then what's this one?
the new Heroes of Crime.
Wait, what? So current and then new.
The current are the ones that are out now. The new ones are the ones that haven't been invented yet. This doesn't have a list, so I'll read the paragraph. And finally, don't just read the big names. Find out who is new and hot. Who's bringing something new to the genre? Who is the Ian Rankin of tomorrow? This is particularly important. Nicholas Obregon. That's the new one.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be current? Because he's currently writing books. New means they haven't written anything, or they have one book that's just coming out. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
A lot of padding on this list.
All right, number 5. We're actually getting to the nitty-gritty hard stuff.
Open your laptop.
No, we're still not at the writing yet. We're close. Take a course in writing crime fiction. I'm not.
Fuck you.
Maybe I'll watch some YouTube videos or look up a shitty list that's supposed to tell me how to write crime, but then I'm 5 deep and it doesn't tell me anything about writing crime. It just says do what other. It doesn't even say read books and do what they did. It doesn't even say that. So if you want to figure out how to write crime, take an introduction to crime writing course. Fuck you. Is it your course? Oh, it is, isn't it? Isn't that the thing you want me to pay for? No. 6. Evidently, whoever wrote this list did not do a course on how to write good list. Number 6. What does this even fucking mean? So we've read 4 different things of crime and took a crime writing course. Number 6, start with the crime.
Yes, finally.
But it's just like, yeah, you kind of have to have a crime to write a crime story. That's usually one of the first things you probably come up with, right? So if you want to write a crime list, you have to have a crime. I'm not elaborating on such stupidity. It's obvious. Folks, if you want to read this list for yourself, You could do so by going to the National Center for Writing, where they'll teach you for a fee, a nominal fee, how to write crime over a 38-week course. I don't know how long that course is. Probably stretched out to infinity. Great stories usually make a promise to the reader. So you want the reader to... I'm going to do what Caleb's going to do in his crime novel. Start with the crime that hooks the reader. My story starts with a private detective getting shot in the head. Seems pretty catchy. And that's what I do. I'm not going to have fucking 38 chapters of build-up and then we finally maybe get to a crime. I would say, personally, I would like crime that's fast-paced, good action, and delivers with a lot of cliffhangers at the end of the chapters to make keep reading. That's what I would do. But maybe you want to write literary crime. Go fuck your butt. Number 7. Now we're going to Lester Dent territory. Use conflict. Are we going to... Are we going to have, like, on the Lester Dent episode where it's just the same thing recycled ad nauseum? Remember, it was just like, oh, he comes into conflict. He falls down. He ends on a fucking terrible accident. And then the second thing was the same as the first. And, use conflict in any story you're telling.
Yeah, probably.
Most likely, if you're telling a story, there should be some conflict. Number 8, surprise your reader. Good surprise is always good.
Yeah.
It's good.
You should probably have multiple surprises.
If you can. Happy surprises, bad surprises, any surprises. Fuck it. Again, if you can start off in the first chapter with some kind of surprise, that's always fun, too. I think of Chinatown, where at the end, it turned out it was incest. That was the cry. You ever see Chinatown, Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah.
It's like they were fucking each other.
Chinatown, and then what was the sequel?
I don't remember the sequel.
It was something completely different.
Beijing, I don't know. Shanghai surprise.
No.
Number 9, don't use victims and violence as plot devices. Okay, now we're getting to a little bit interesting territory. Because I would use victims and violence as a plot device ad nauseum again.
Yeah, it's a crime, yeah.
I made myself sick today. There have been many criticisms leveled at crime writers, especially within TV and film, for using victims and violence, including sexual violence, simply as plot device. I do agree with that. When you throw in the old RAPE just for a plot device, should serve a purpose, but it's not like that could be the crime that is being investigated or whatever, but to just have that as like, oh, we're just going to throw this in here to get the old readers pissed off at a character, that's lazy and kind of shitty. I would say unless it's related specifically to the plot and the initial crime, I would not use the violence and the victims as a way just to move the story forward. But that's a delicate touch, you know? That's been done since the beginning of crime fiction, really. Yeah. Let's see. Rather than sympathetic people with complex backstories, victims are too often introduced simply to develop the perpetrator. True. This reduces the victim to voiceless and passive, unable to reflect on what's happening. I like stories where the victims are the ones who are facilitating some of the action. You know, they're actually a part of the story. They're not just like, oh, Jane Doe. You know, there's a reason for their existence. Number 10, this is the one I don't like. Do your research.
Yeah.
This goes in with any kind of crime. The main thing with me and why there's probably a lot of private detective stories and not cop stories. It's because who the fuck wants to learn how the fucking precinct works, you know? Who wants to go through the whole... like, you read some legal thrillers. I couldn't fucking do the research to do a legal thriller.
Yeah.
Like the whole genre of court fiction.
Yeah, or just even like procedurals.
Yeah, like just the process is daunting. But there is a whole list here, so I'll read the list. I won't go into the other stuff. I should probably read what's precursing the list. Research is the key. Ensure that you understand any key aspects of your story. It can be valuable to read around the subject matter, nonfiction books about murders, crime, political intrigue, and espionage. For example, the limits of forensics. So you need to know that there isn't semen on everything. That there's not a giant semen database. You're not going to be like, oh, here's some cum on this murder victim's neck. Swab.
Yeah.
Crime solved.
I mean, unless if you're able to, match it to your own bank of semen you have.
Oh, like Batman's bank.
Yeah.
He would have a whole. He would have the semen.
He'd definitely have all the villain semen.
Oh, for sure. For sure. How DNA works. You need to know how DNA works and doesn't work. Kind of along with the semen again. How the legal system works for warrants and arrests. That's one that always pisses me off is like stories where like cops just bum rush someone's house. Like, you can't do that. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a warrant.
Well, not used to work like that.
Yeah, this might need to be amended as of 2025 because now you can just fucking bum rush anybody and then no due process. Due process is a thing of the past. Apparently. Okay. The crime scene, you need to know how crime scenes work and the equipment and all that stuff. What happens to bodies when they're cut, shot, and killed? How do the murderers think? There's so much. You get it. Mm-hmm. Watch some fucking CSI. That's all. Not Miami. That's no. I don't want to CSI Miami. This is the longest one. Was actually the crime fiction shit. Holy shit! This is like 50 paragraphs long about this. So they mean business about the research. I'm not doing all the research.
No, we do not mean that.
Much like not doing the research, I'm not reading about the research. Number 11, create flawed heroes. Your protagonist and your villain should both be likable and dislikable, I think. You want... Now, the common one is the drunk.
Right, yeah.
Or the broken family. Like, oh, my marriage fell apart because I couldn't stop solving crimes, you know? That's usually the PI story that you get the most. But any story where it's, I lost my wife, my husband, my kids, whatever it is, that adds layers, but that's with any story. You want to add layers to your character.
But again, I feel like that almost falls into like the like with like the victim stuff. Is like you like there's over like, oh, he's a lovable alcoholic. You know what I mean? Yeah. To try to get like that sympathy, for like it's not his fault that his life's shit.
You are correct. Well, here are some flaws you could throw in. They could be selfish, vengeful, reckless, arrogant. Again, these are the common tropes. I would say mad, horny, Master Roshi style is where I would go.
Yeah.
Guy can't keep it in his pants. And that's his downfall. He's a womanizer or a man-nizer. But yeah, I think the having good layers, and a hero should have things that you don't like about them, just like any person. Mm-hmm. If you're reading a hero and he just seems too perfect, or she seems too the Mary Sue, or what's the male version?
Just any male character.
Yeah, it's you don't want to do that. Oh Jesus, this is a big one too. Make the killer powerful. Killers and criminals. What makes a compelling killer? Make the killer powerful in some way. Make the crimes make sense to them. Show their motivation. Yes, I don't know why that was thrown under the layers for the protagonist, but what's a good fictional crime boss or like Kingpin? Like, why is this person doing what they're doing? Mobsters is usually just money. Right. Sometimes revenge. I think John Wick does a good job of creating different characters, and they have motivations for what they do. Though some of it's a little loose.
Right, well.
Like the Marquis in the third one. It was the third one where he just like, I don't know, he wants power or something fucking dumb. Let's see. Oh, shit, son. It gives a list of different killers and stuff. Like I said, go to the list if you want to read all this stuff, but just some of the examples of different villains that have good motivations and are layered characters. Hannibal Lecter, Dexter, Patrick Bateman, Norman Bates. And then you could use real killers too, such as Eileen Wuornos, John Wayne Gacy, Harold Shipman, Myra Hindley, and Jeffrey Dahmer. Never realized Jeffrey Dahmer spelled it with a G. What a fuckface.
No wonder.
Number 12, characters. Focus on interesting, not likable. Basically cover that. Number 13, dialogue. Keep it real. This goes with all fiction. It's easy to fall into a certain crime talk. Like in your stories, almost like a parody. Yeah, like almost a parody. That's where I have to probably amend my story. I'm just on a draft, but where I'm working with like some of the language, I'm like, I'm going a little hard on the pulpy noir feel, but I'll adjust that later. 14, use location and setting as a character. Now, we've talked about this like for my crime novel, what's the setting I want? I want to go fictional. You got your Gotham cities. I want a city that's not real.
Okay.
Your Sin Cities, whatever. I want a city that I don't have to, again, research, but also I don't want to have to get all the details right, Because you mentioned, why don't you set it Pittsburgh? That would be cool, but I would probably want to do that if I was doing a more realistic story, especially if this is set more in the past, because then it's like, I don't know the fucking history of what was Pittsburgh in the 30s? Like, I don't fucking know doing all that. Horse hockey. Though a steel mill scene could be cool.
Yeah.
But like, I'm all about, I could set a story that is basically Pittsburgh.
Well, because that's what I was thinking too. Because like the one thing, because I would like the like all the bridges and stuff. I think would be good for crimes and stuff like that.
It's definitely a criminal favorable city. 15, avoid first person narrative. Interesting. I want to read about this. Many people are drawn to writing in the first person as it's an effective way for a reader to identify with the protagonist. Writers can really get inside a character's head when he or she is the one directing and telling the story. However, this approach has many disadvantages. Do you know what they are?
Tell me.
Comes with the plot. Without reading this, I would say the main one is the suspense. If they're telling the story, are they dead?
Right.
Unless it's written in epistolary, like, letters that someone found. You don't know. But if it's like, oh, this is what happened to me, and it's like, well, you're alive, so take some of the drama out. If the story is told from the point of view of a single character, every notable event in the book has to happen while the character is present. That does suck. You can't have off-screen shit going on. And also, when you do that, then you are stuck with being from the character's perspective. So your villain is going to be more villainous because the character sees the villain as a villain. Whereas if it's third person, you can make the villain, like we talked about earlier, a little more likable, give them some layers, have reasons for what they're doing, where the protagonist just sees them as a bad person and, puts them in that light.
Oh, no.
My phone exploded. The only alternative is for this to be relayed to them by another character. That sucks. One way around this might be to use the first person in some chapters, those that focus on the protagonist, while other chapters are from or more characters' point of view. I don't like that shifting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine if it's like this chapter is for first person, but like Coin Locker Babes, I don't remember if that was first person, but it was this character in the next chapter. It was like alternated characters, but it wasn't, I don't think, alternating perspectives. So it wasn't like, oh, this chapter is first person, chapter 2 is third person. That's weird.
Right.
I don't want third person and then first person. That's too much mixing.
I mean, again, unless it's somehow you're able to do it to where it makes sense in the story.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really good, I guess you could do that, but I almost feel like that'd be telling two different stories.
Yeah.
It could work. I don't know if I'm good enough to do that. 16, introduce the gun in the first act. Well, I forget who said it, but the old, if you introduce a gun, you have to fire it.
Yeah.
I like that because my story opens with a shot face. So I agree. It's just, come on. What if you're telling a samurai crime story? Then it would be a sword.
Right.
If there's a rifle hanging on the wall in the first act, it will be fired in the third act. That's Anton Chekhov. Yeah, that's common knowledge. 17, use character beats. Interesting. I don't know what that means quite. Let's investigate further. Crime and thrillers are all about action. But it's easy to forget that characters' beats are important and powerful. Yes, we want our readers to be compelled. That's what it said. Yes, it's just like that. That's how it's spelled. Yes, we want our reader to be. He didn't like that.
He did not.
He was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You guys are idiots. Shake it off, bro. Shake off the disgust you have for me. Yes, we want our readers to be compelled to turn the page to peel back the next layer of the onion, but we shouldn't forget that all of the action is happening to someone, a person, a character, and we need to bring them to life, or our reader won't care. Take time for your key characters to reflect on what's happening, what they want to achieve, and importantly, what's holding back, as well as reflection and contemplation. I think it's important, which I plan on doing in my story, is having many moments where the characters either in their own thoughts or having dialogue with someone else, and you actually get their feelings, their emotions, why they're going to go about what they're about to do. You can't just have, like, that's one thing the John Wick movies at least lack is, oh, they killed my dog, I'm mad. And then you just go and it's all action.
Mm-hmm.
Like Keanu Reeves barely says anything in those movies. You don't really get anything beyond his base motivation. And then later movies about surviving. But it's just like, you don't actually get a reflection of the character, so you can't be really too tied into the character other than, he's a badass,
Right.
I think it'd be more important for a crime like if you had a John Wick novel, which I don't know how it's handled in the manga, but if you had a novel, I could imagine it'd be super boring if it's just like, oh, shoot, gunfight, car chase, and it's just like, why is he doing all this now? Like, you killed the whole entire fucking mob,
right?
And it's just like, okay, I guess your car got broken, your dog got killed, so is that revenge now?
Yeah,
He killed 800 humans in a day and
get another dog.
They briefly, his wife gave him the dog before she died, and that was the final gift. So okay, that's like.
I heard they're supposed to do some like prequel.
They have that ballerina movie.
But I know I think it's supposed to be like an animated thing, and it's supposed to be like what John Wick did to earn him the favor to leave.
See, I don't like that because then that takes the the mask,
mystery.
The mystery off it. Number 18, plan a watertight plot. This is the hard one.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really elaborate, but just to come up with a crime story that has a airtight plot where you read it and you go, I can't find any holes.
Right. And then also, I'm sure it's something that should be on the list, but also like I think that involves like the red herrings and things of that nature.
Many crime writers start with detailed timelines and spreadsheets.
I mean, having some kind of like
you need something.
Yeah, like I don't know about a spreadsheet, but yeah, you might want to have like a this happens and then
a timeline would be important.
Yeah, just to keep you on track.
19, series or standalone. That's one of those ones where anymore it seems like it's always got to be a series. Unless it's hard case crime, then I think you get away with doing just a bunch of one-offs. But I think like I would probably have a loose series, or like a Easy Rollins stuff. It's like, oh, these could all be read as a one-off, or they go together in a timeline.
Right.
20, build backstory. Don't worry. I'm skipping down here. Don't worry. You don't need to create a detailed backstory and explore every aspect of their early life. This is the character. A few lines or even a sentence can help to frame a character and what they do. Here's a little list. It reminded the postman of his own father's drinking. See, I do like that.
Yeah.
Liz liked the book, and not just because it reminded her of her doctorate degree. It would be hard to talk to. Say you're just using very basic. Oh, here's a line. So now you know this guy had some kind of either he had a drinking problem or somebody had a drinking problem. Something like that. And
that'd be another good thing. Like if you do the series route, you do a little bit of that, like in each book, and you slowly
unravel.
Yeah.
And that also keeps the readers interested because they don't know everything about. If you do like a fucking info dump or something, and you know everything about the character from Jump Street, it's like I don't fucking care anymore. But if you slowly unravel, because then like whether it's throughout one book or multiple books, you learn more about the character. Nicholas Obregon did that in the Iwata trilogy.
Right.
Like you learn about the character as the story goes on, and then in the following books, you still learn more. And it's like that's cool because I don't know everything. And sometimes I'll come across something, I don't like that about them.
Well, yeah, and then hopefully with that too, as the character is changing too.
Yeah.
Between each book, which again,
and you can show growth or digression.
Which again, Obregon did a really good job with that in that trilogy.
Right. 21. Avoid cliches. So this is gonna piss me right off. There's a list. Heroes with drug problems. Damn it.
Yeah.
Obsessions with particular types of music. I don't
like jazz. Like is that
maybe that was a thing? I don't know. I never really came across that I remember, or I just didn't pay attention to. Maybe they're just making fun of Murakami. Gender stereotypes such as the prim and proper female character who eventually caves to the male protagonist's charm. See, I thought they would have did the femme fatale.
Well, no, because that's a good one.
Oh, so it's just if it's a good one, you can keep it?
Yeah.
The genius crime solver who is rubbish with humans, the maverick loner. And similarly, the wacky funny sidekick who can't stand the sight of blood. I hate that. Similar again, the brilliant serial killer. I want a dunderhead serial killer who fumbles his way to the fucking bottom, but somehow eludes police through pure stupidity. Just a straight up serial killer Magoo, Mr. Magoo. Cops from broken families, murder monologues in which they describe exactly why they did it. Yeah, that's some James Bond shit.
But also like you can do a couple of these every once in a while.
It's fine to throw in, even if it's like a little wink, some personal link between the detective and the murderer. Because that's like used to make you the detective care about the killing more. Whereas it's just a job normally. If there's like, there's a connection. I mean, I get it. You don't have to have like, it turns, the murderer knew his wife or something, his dead wife. Is there a connection there or some shit like that? The hard-ass police chief, car chases and shootouts, the estranged wife-daughter parent. Car chases and shootouts?
Wait. Like, where's the fun at now?
What are we doing here? Next, you're going to say we can't have bank robberies and heist.
Yeah.
Next, you're going to say we can't have the fucking guy that has,
murders.
The hard ass with a heart of gold. You can't have that character. The estranged wife, daughter, parent. The young female they underestimated. Middle-aged men who are irresistible to younger women. Most of that is just everything that makes a crime novel.
Yeah, like...
So, if you want to write good crime, write bad crime.
Fuck. What the fuck are you talking about?
I can agree with most of those, or like at least changing it so it's not so obvious. But the car chase shootouts, come on, that's a part of the fun. Like, when have you read a crime novel that had none of that? That was worthwhile,
right? Like,
oh,
did you lose it? Haagen-Dazs again?
I said 25 essential tips.
Yeah.
Not chips. Tips, and now we're at 21, and it seems...
It'd be over?
Yeah. Yeah, you might also like crime fiction, how to plot a crime novel. That probably would have been more helpful.
Maybe not.
Does this go... What the... So...
All right.
The list of the 25 stopped at 21, unless they count the sub list.
Maybe.
That's fine. We're 36 minutes in. That's enough crime talk. So going into a crime novel, I'm now more disparaged than ever. I had high hopes, but now I'm like, well, now I can't have shootouts and car chases.
Well, again, that goes into the how much validity do you put into that list? Like,
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know the validity of it, but I will say this, Spencer. I'll put this to you. I already told you this briefly yesterday while we stood in the rain in kind of a Blade Runner-esque night.
It was a
little odd. Everything was shiny, like a lot of glare, a lot of neon colors around. I think there was a giant Ana, what's her name? De Armas, the hot chick from Blade Runner. She was the big hologram. I think she was standing nearby with her knockers out. What was I saying? Oh, so my story, the brief opening, I said there's a killer. So it's a private eye gets shot in the head. And then the next scene is a hungover gentleman getting a call from the morgue telling him that his brother just died, which he doesn't want to believe. And my plan is the character, and I'm not giving the name so I don't want anybody to steal it. The character is going to be like a petty criminal. I would say petty's probably better than like a real criminal. Maybe at once he was like a bank robber or something, but things tanked. But a petty criminal who ends up having to solve his private detective brother's murder. I think that's an interesting twist. I mean, I'm sure it's been done, but does that seem too generic, or you think that'd be all right?
I mean, I like it. I like the idea.
Because that now it gives you the personal... maybe there's a personal connection.
Well, especially then too, like I've read enough of your stuff to be like, well, maybe that might be like not a completely original premise, but also like in the way that it also depends on the way you do it, like
Yeah, and also there's not original premises in the crime genre anymore. Come on,
in anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Who's calling me?
Telemarketer.
I don't know. 804. Hang up on you, bitch boy. I keep getting toll scams.
Yeah.
I got in a group message for tolls.
I got into a group when somebody was even just like, hey, I'm going to get the police on you right now.
You were in the one I was in.
Oh, yeah?
I ended up blocking it, but yeah, someone was like, this is a scam.
Yeah.
I'm calling. Wow, I should have looked at the numbers. You thought your name would have come up.
Right?
So we were in the same one. Neato. We were scam buddies. You didn't even know it. That's cool. Yeah, I deleted and blocked it, but... what was I going to... yeah, it was annoying because I didn't realize at first when I did that, you have to remove yourself from the group chat as well. So I had to do that. So that was our list that we completely botched, I think. I don't know. Did we do a good job?
We're not the one that botched it, I think.
The top 21 out of 25 list. You can follow us at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I think it's it. You can check out my work at calebjamesk.com and buy books I'm in. And you can check out Spencer's OnlyFans this week. He is the Greenwich good guy, so not a bad one. What are you doing? Just do good Samaritan work?
Good deeds.
Giving money to the homeless, building shelters, that kind of, that's good. And then maybe one day when Spencer finally has enough books out, he'll actually create a fucking website to promote the stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's been talking about for couple years now.
Yeah.
Maybe actually like have a way for people to see the things you're in.
Yeah, maybe.
And be like, oh, can they go if they want to buy this book you're in? Oh, I think it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, the name is I don't remember. Just look it up. How are they gonna look it up?
Just find it.
Just type in Spencer Church.
If you care, you would find it.
Seems successfully terrible way to go about selling books. Thank you for listening, and we will check you out next week probably with, I don't know, maybe a better episode, maybe a worse episode. Haven't decided yet.